Hey there, Postal here. So today we're going to be taking out the Spitfire Vb, another quote-unquote rare aircraft. I cannot type. As you can see, still don't have my new computer and probably won't for close to a month, so we'll see how that goes. So you're stuck with me in this teal background. What is the Spitfire B? Well, we actually need to get everybody else there, and we need to head to the center. It's a Tier 7 battle, unfortunately, and an I-220 can be a huge pain in the butt. That being said, you may have also noticed, Postal, you're not actually flying the Spitfire Vb. Well, yeah, actually I am. Except mine's got a little guy named Eddie flying, making sure that I do as well as I can. What's the difference between the Spitfire Vb and the Spitfire Vb Iron Maiden? Nothing but Eddie, but I figured I'd fly it instead. To answer your question, no, you can't get the Iron Maiden one right now. I don't know if you'll ever be able to get it. But you can look at it and, you know, grovel before me in my glory. So what is the Spitfire Vb, though? Well, if you like Spitfires, you're gonna like the Spitfire Vb. Really the only difference between the Spitfire 5 tech tree version of the plane and the Spitfire Vb is the top engine. And somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't actually own the Spitfire 5 anymore. There's so many. Let me see what I'm doing here. Oh, crap. Nobody likes Yak 9 in the face. There's so many premium versions of the Spitfire 5 that I just never hung on to the Spitfire 5 because I'm never wanting for Spitfire 5s. Is really what it comes down to. It's my understanding, though, that the only difference is this has the second from the top engine rather than the top engine. I think you get like 3,300 horsepower instead of 3,700 horsepower. Are you going to notice that in game? Almost certainly not. And so really, it's if you like Spitfires, you're gonna like this plane. You get two 20mm cannons on this plane. You have is it 4? Yeah, 4 basically 30 caliber machine guns. And that combination allows you to put a decent hurt on people. One thing that I like to do when it comes to a combination of machine guns and cannons like this is I definitely like to utilize the alternate key. And what I mean by that is, so like right now my 20mm cannons are overheated, but what I'll do is I'll just hold down my C key, which will allow me to just fire my machine guns, as you can see right here, and that will allow my 20mm cannons to cool off. Unfortunately, this map sucks, and so we're on the winning side of the map. Really, it comes down to, you can win the map spawning on this side, but you need to capture the center. He who captures the center first wins the battle. Something that rhymes with first. We got the center. Don't know if they even realized they had to get the center, or it's, you know, a requirement, so to speak. Most people think, well, that's what wins the game. It's not, actually. It's this airbase here. Whoever can keep respawning is going to completely own the situation. And I believe this game is close to over. Key 61, what are you doing? Alright, so we are a Spitfire. We've got reasonable altitude performance. We're hanging down pretty low. You do notice when you are trying to get to a higher altitude from a lower altitude that it takes a little while for this plane to get there, but nothing like too crazy. Shall we go defend? I-220. Yeah, why not? Let's push it. Let's push it. What would Eddie say? He'd say, yeah, let's push it. See what we can do. I really try to stay. Ooh, never mind. It's gonna be a whole bunch of red versus me. Eddie says, let's not be stupid. We can be aggressive, but let's not be stupid. little wiggle and a shake. Avoid the head-on from the IL-1. Let's actually get the heck out of dodge here. I want to get back in the sector. If I'm going to kill planes, I want to kill them defensively, not just kind of out in the middle of nowhere. So let's drag them over to here. Get back to some altitude again. It looks like they're sending some of them over to the... Well, never mind, that guy died. I was going to say sending some of them over to the... There's a Yak 9. Do I tempt fate? Looks like I do. And I win. Fate. Oh, my 20s are overheated, so let off of them for a second. Kind of out of speed, yep. Flip back over. Sure could use some like Aces High playing in the background, but I want to make $1.50 or whatever I make per video. I don't think it's that high. I think it's like 75 cents. And I don't want to lose out on my 75 cents. Is that guy gonna be low enough for me to do something about? Let's use our boost. We've got 4 seconds of it. Damn it. We lost the center. That's not a good thing. I don't like this at all, actually. We could conceivably lose this simply from... So what happens in this particular map is things start to spiral pretty quickly. Get pretty pear-shaped, and then the next thing you know, it's air supremacy, simply because of the way the map's built. Okay, got a heavy fighter right below me, or around me, or near me.
No way to break through for you now. You're on your own.
No, 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 no. Coastal doesn't like it. Getting all kinds of hot and heavy here. Man, it was like a casual little flying game for a while here, and now suddenly it's tryhard mode to the max. We need this sector. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness. I don't care about the ground attacker. The ground attacker can live. It's these guys that are going to be more of a pain in my life. Luckily, although Yak can do a hell of a lot of damage, it is a relatively fragile plane. Let's go ahead and get my boost on here. And Key 63 is actually going to be my most feared plane here. Oh no, I'm going to die. Yep. I thought that was a F4U, not an IL-1. An F4U I would have had a better chance against. IL-1, do not go head on. Ah, dang it. Alright, but we are going to win the battle. Luckily, we were able to get that center location back. Again, the center really is key on this particular map, because you can just keep respawning. They would eventually capture the command center if we allowed them to. Got a Marseille, was not able to get an ace because I died there at the end. Tis a shame. Let's head on back. We got a Marseille on the nose, though. 17 kills there. 2 sectors captured, but that's all we needed to capture. And that was the mission that actually gets me to be able to specialize my Spitfire Vb. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Glad to hear it. Glad to see it. And yeah, so you can see what this plane can do. It's going to do what a Spitfire does, and it's going to do it pretty darn well. The negative impact of having the Merlin 45 instead of the Merlin 62 or whatever's on a normal Spitfire 5 is not overly noticeable. Few and far between, we should say. Let's take a quick look here. The Spitfire 5, you get a Merlin 32, excuse me. Otherwise, the same 20mm cannons, the same 303 Brownings. you're just going to be missing out on this. The Merlin 45 engine is the same one that you'll see on both the Spitfire 5B, which is this one right here, and the Iron Maiden version, which again might not be for sale anytime soon. See, I actually haven't flown this plane, but I do quite enjoy this one. But Eddie makes it enjoyable, right? So I've got the ability to specialize this plane, and I'll do that at a later time. The great thing about Spitfire 5B is it is a premium plane, and so you can put any pilot in here you want. Whereas on your Spitfire 5, your pilot might only be, 2, 3, 4, 6 points until you've continued to build it up. On a premium plane in World of Warplanes, you can put any pilot in there, and it'll be 100% of the same nation. So I've got my Swift pilot in here, which is a 10-point pilot, probably my most point British pilot, and so it's built around the Swift. Swift really needs Marksman 2. This particular plane does not need Marksman 2. Marksman 1 certainly isn't a bad skill to have for whatever pilot that you have in a Spitfire. However, I tend to focus on maneuverability, and Aerodynamics Expert is not... Aerodynamics Expert is a skill that I would go for, but only after you've specialized the plane. The reason this particular pilot has Aerodynamics Expert is because it's my Swift pilot, and that plane is specialized. Aerodynamics Expert really starts to be impactful once there's more equipment being used on maneuverability and speed. In fact, let's just go ahead here, and since I do have the ability to specialize the plane, we're going to take a look at it before you specialize the Spitfire 5B and after. This is the setup I recommend on the before, simply because you're never going to be the fastest plane out there, and so you might as well lean in on speed. I've gone ahead and put, for both my airframe and engine, I've put maneuverability on this particular plane. Lightweight power unit, lightweight wing frame, gives me more maneuverability. The Spitfire's bread and butter is its maneuverability. Yes, airspeed is better than a 0 in a Yak, the Yak 1M. But that being said, it's not like you're ever going to, even if you've got a full speed build, going to be hanging out with P-51s and BF-109Fs. So especially while you're stock, you're not going to get to those kind of speeds. So lean in on your maneuverability is my recommendation. For equipment on the cockpit, well, you're in the mid-tiers, so you don't have a whole lot of options. You've got cockpit armor and your sight. Cockpit armor is a complete waste of time on a plane, in my opinion, that is set to attack other planes. I want to make sure my guns are hitting as often as possible. There are those that will put cockpit armor on there. It's not the way that I would set up my plane, but hey, to each their own. Consumables is a very basic fighter setup for me. I put first aid package on here. Spitfire 5 does not catch on fire very often. Really no purpose in putting a fire extinguisher on this particular plane. Pneumatic control assist, incredibly helpful for when you get stuck in those situations where you have to dogfight something that's a little bit more maneuverable. You're going to be able to actually outmaneuver it. And then engine cooling gives you that 10 seconds worth of boost from time to time. Always helpful when you're trying to get from sector to sector, or in the rare occasion when you're trying to get away from a 0 or a Yak 1M. You can use the engine boost and utilize that. Remember, the Spitfire 5 is a turn fighter, but it's got okay-ish altitude performance and okay-ish airspeed, so utilize that when you need to. Let's go ahead and let's specialize this right now, and let's see what's Postal going to do for specialization on a Spitfire 5. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you for congratulating me. So obviously we're going to keep the sight on here. I want to make sure my guns are... Hello. Thank you. Are still hitting. And what the heck, let's go ahead and let's upgrade this to advanced. We'll circle back around and make it ultimate at a future date. Chance of causing fire, inflicting critical damage. Cool. I'm still going to be leaning in on maneuverability as far as my first two item slots is concerned. In another configuration, there we go. Let's go ahead and let's get it to enhanced. Why not? Cool. Helps my cruise speed even. And as far as the engine is concerned, again, I'm going to be going with maneuverability. The Spitfire, I've talked about it throughout this video. It's got good enough speed and altitude performance for a turn fighter, but do not confuse it with an altitude fighter. Let's go ahead and enhance this. However, that being said, as far as my last equipment item is going to be on this plane, I'm actually going to lean in on airspeed. Yeah, this is going to take away a little bit from my overall maneuverability, but polished skin is going to give me that little bit of oomph. Wow, look at all the freaking polished skin I got sitting in. What the heck? Alright. Cool. That's going to help with our overall airspeed as well. So let's go ahead and get the first aid package here. We're going to get pneumatic control assist. We're going to do the engine cooling and universal ammo just because I have no idea the percentage that it helps, but it's not expensive and I've got credits to spare. As far as the additional consumable slot, the exhaust bleed system just doesn't make sense for this plane. It doesn't catch on fire enough to warrant anything that's reducing the chance of fire. So let's go ahead and use the emergency control system. This will allow me to put my wings and or tail back in immediately. So let's go ahead and apply that. So we don't have ultimate equipment on here, but we do have the ability to, we've got our maneuverability up to 8.2 seconds in the turn. Again, if I'm comparing that to a Yak or 1M or a Zero, an A6M5, it's nothing to get excited about. But the combination of that and the airspeed buff that we've got on here really makes this plane the type of plane that harasses the heck out of things like a Bf-109F. It harasses and does very well against air defense aircraft. And that's really where you want your focus to be on the Spitfire. When you're flying your Spitfire, take advantage of all those planes that that are easy enough to take advantage of. Yeah, you can certainly take down Zeros. You can take down Yak 1Ms. I'm not saying you can't. You need to get the jump on them. And then you'll be able to, because both of those planes are very weak airframe-wise, and so a couple 20mm cannon hits is going to either set them on fire or knock out their wings and or tail and give you the advantage. So the Spitfire 5B, is it the greatest plane since sliced bread? No. Is it a solid Spitfire? For sure. If you like Spitfires, this plane is going to be right up your alley. If you want a Spitfire 5 premium version, you're not even really going to notice the difference between this premium version and the Tech Tree plane. And that's a good thing if you like the Tech Tree plane. Like I said, I don't even have the Tech Tree plane anymore because I've got this. I don't see any reason to have a hangar slot dictated to the Spitfire 5. That being said, if you don't mind the nation, the best Spitfire 5 in the game is actually the Spitfire 5 DB605, but it's German. This particular plane, and this plane's always available by the way, is a Spitfire 5 with an even better engine than the Tech Tree Spitfire 5. This plane was taken by the Germans and they slapped a DB605 engine in it. So you have all the good things about a Spitfire 5, the guns, the survivability, the overall airspeed, and the maneuverability. What you also have on top of that is increased altitude performance. Even better. It's just kind of nuts, to be honest. So, if you want a Spitfire 5, and you don't necessarily care about the nation that it's in, you probably actually want to go with a Spitfire 5 DB605. That being said, if you want to keep it British, and you want to have yourself a solid tier 6 British fighter, the Spitfire 5B is a very good plane for that, especially if you enjoy Spitfires. Just don't expect Eddie to be behind the cockpit of yours. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, feel free to comment down below or hop in my Discord. The link is in the description below. And I hope you have a great day. Catch you in the next one. Bye.